Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon.
Welcome po to DPWH Sorsogon 2nd District Engineering Office. Today is February 27, 2024. Scheduled for today's pre-bid conference are the following projects: 24FL0030, construction of multipurpose building at Barcelona, Gubat, and Bulusan, Sorsogon. Cluster 12, Barangay Bintoko, Gubat, Sorsogon, Barangay Bogtong, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay Hibong, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay San Vicente, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay Mapapak, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay Fabrica, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay San Isidro, Bulusan, Sorsogon, and Barangay San Roque, Bulusan, Sorsogon. And for 24FL0032, construction of multipurpose building at Barangay Buraburan, Barangay Embarcadero, and Sitio Palapay, Barangay Lajong, Juban, Sorsogon, Cluster 15. Barangay Buraburan, Juban, Sorsogon, Barangay Embarcadero, Juban, Sorsogon, and Sitio Palapay, Barangay Lajong, Juban, Sorsogon. So, attendees for today's pre-bid conference are the following: Erwin S. Insanares, back chairman; Wilfredo S. Fajardo, back vice chairman; Bernadette D. Laguna, back member; Glenn L. Enesio, head of procurement unit; Nathaniel B. Alegre, back secretariat; Nathaniel A. Ferretero Jr., planning engineer; and Christian Austria, IT staff. So for today's pre-bid conference po, Mr. Chair, meron na po tayong quorum and wala pong present na contractor.
Okay, good afternoon. Since we have a quorum, this pre-bid conference is now called to order. And the agenda for this pre-bid meeting are as follows: the basic contract data, the guidelines in submission of bids, the requirements of bidding documents, eligibility criteria, the documents to be submitted by the bidder, including the technical and financial proposals, criteria and procedures for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. Question and comments from bidders and replies of back and other representatives of the procuring entity. The summary of proceedings, including the bid bulletin to be issued and other matters. To discuss to us the basic contract data is Engineer Ferretero.
Basic contract data for contract ID number 24FL0032, construction of multi-purpose building at Barangay Buraburan, Barangay Embarcadero, and Sitio Palapay, Barangay Lajong, Juban, Sorsogon, Cluster 15. Contract location is at Barangay Buraburan, Juban, Sorsogon, Barangay Embarcadero, Juban, Sorsogon, and Sitio Palapay, Barangay Lajong, Juban, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract is 21,780,000 pesos. Brief description: construction of multi-purpose building, covered court. Source of fund is FY 2024 GAA. Contract duration is 150 calendar days. The cost of bidding documents is 25,000 pesos. Submission of bids is scheduled on March 12, 2024 until 10 a.m. and the opening of bids is at 10 a.m. of March 12, 2024, immediately after closing the receipt of bids. Major category of work, the code is BICWOPLC. For the next slide, we have the sample of the bill of quantities and the bid data sheet. So all of these are downloadable through the DPWH website or at the PhilJobs website. Minimum manpower requirement for project manager, the minimum years of experience required is 5 years. For project engineer, 5 years. Materials engineer, 3 years. Safety health officer, 1 year. And foreman, 3 years. Minimum equipment requirement for backhoe, the required number of units is 1 unit. Backhoe with breaker, 1 unit. Payloader, 1 unit. Plate compactor, 1 unit. Concrete vibrator, 1 unit. 1 bagger mixer, 2 units. Bar cutter, 1 unit. Bar bender, 1 unit. Welding machine, 2 units. Cutting outfit, 1 unit. Dump truck, 2 units. And water truck, pump, 1 unit. So we have here the sample of the special conditions of contract and also some samples of the plans. Again, all of these are downloadable through the DPWH website or at the PhilJobs website. So we have here for the construction of multi-purpose building, Barangay Buraburan, Juban, Sorsogon. We have here the perspective, the site development plan, and also the floor plans and elevations. Next is for Barangay Embarcadero, Juban, Sorsogon. Again, the perspective, and also the floor plans and the elevations. And for Barangay Lajong, Juban, Sorsogon, Next, we have the basic contract data for contract ID number 24FL0030, construction of multi-purpose building at Barcelona, Gubat, and Bulusan, Sorsogon, Cluster 12. Contract location is at Barangay Bentuco, Gubat, Sorsogon, Barangay Bugtong, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay Hibong, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay San Vicente, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay Mapapak, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay Fabrica, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay San Isidro, Bulusan, Sorsogon, and San Roque, Bulusan, Sorsogon. Approved budget for the contract is 67,320,000 pesos. With description, construction of multi-purpose building, covered court. Source of fund is FY 2024 GAA. The contract duration is 150 calendar days. Cost of bidding documents, 50,000 pesos. Submission of bids is scheduled on March 13, 2024 until 10 a.m. and the opening of bids is at 10 a.m. of March 13, 2024, immediately after closing the receipt of bids. Again, the major category of work, the code is BICWOPLC. Again, the code is BICWOPLC. Here's a sample of the bill of quantities and also the sample of the bid data sheet. All of these are downloadable through the DPWH website or at the PhilJobs website. Minimum manpower requirement for project manager, the minimum years of experience required is 5 years. Project engineer, 5 years. Materials engineer, 3 years. Safety health officer, 1 year. And foreman, 3 years. Minimum equipment requirement for backhoe, the required number of units is 1 unit. Backhoe with breaker, 1 unit. Payloader, 1 unit. Plate compactor, 1 unit. Concrete vibrator, 1 unit. 1 bagger mixer, 2 units. Bar cutter, 1 unit. Bar bender, 1 unit. Welding machine, 2 units. Cutting outfit, 1 unit. Dump truck, 2 units. Water truck, pump, 1 unit. We have here a sample of the special conditions of contract and some samples of the plans. So we have here for the construction of multi-purpose building at Barangay Bentuco, Gubat, Sorsogon, and Barangay San Vicente, Barcelona, Sorsogon. Here are the perspective, the site development plan, and also the floor plans and elevations of the project. Next is for the construction of multi-purpose building at Barangay Bugtong, Barcelona, Mapapak, Barcelona, San Isidro, Bulusan, Fabrica, Barcelona, Sorsogon, Barangay Hibong, Barcelona, Sorsogon, and Barangay San Roque, Bulusan, Sorsogon. Here are their respective perspectives, site development, and site development plans. So again, all of these are downloadable through the DPWH website or at the PhilJobs website. So for the next slide, it will be discussed by Engineer Laguna.
Submission and receipt of bids. So, 120 calendar days from the date of the opening of bids po ang bid validity niya. So, bids should be submitted to the bank on the date, time, and either at its physical address or through online submission specified in the invitation to bid. Through the bidder's duly authorized representative in a two-envelope system, where eligibility and technical requirements are enclosed in one envelope and the financial requirements in another envelope. Eligibility and technical envelope and financial envelope shall be enclosed in one single envelope. Sealing and marking of bids. Each envelope shall contain the name of the contractor to be bid, name and address of the bidder, recipient, back, and / procuring entity, and the phrase "do not open before date and time of opening of bids." So, next po. So, unsealed and unmarked bid envelopes, or in case of electronic bid submission, not in compressed archive folders are not passport protected, are rejected. Improperly sealed and marked bid envelopes or not properly compressed and password protected will be accepted, provided that the bidder or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. Electronic submission and receipt of bids. So, through any electronic means available or through the GPPB online portal po. Yan, makikita po natin dyan yung link. Next. Guidelines through electronic submission means GPPB Resolution number 09-2020. Number 1 is a two-factor security procedure, archived and password protected. Number 2 allows access to a password protected bidding documents. Passwords shall be disclosed by the bidders only during the actual bid opening. And number 3, capable of generating an audit trail of transactions. So submission and receipt of bids, modification of bids po. Before the deadline of submission of bids, bidder shall not be allowed to retrieve its original bid and submit new bids equally sealed, properly identified, linked to its original bid and marked as a modification. For withdrawal of bids naman po, letter of withdrawal must be received prior to the deadline for submission and receipt of bids. For bids withdrawn within the interval between the deadline and expiration of the bid validity, the bid security shall be forfeited. So for electronic bid submission, bidders shall send another bid equally secured, properly identified and labeled as a modification of the previously submitted. The time indicated in the latest bid receipt page generated shall be the official time of the submission. Next slide. So for manual submission po, please submit your documents at Back Secretariat Office, DPWH Sorsogon 2nd DAO, Barangay Gubat, Sorsogon. And for electronic submission naman po, electronicbids_sorsogon2 at dpwh.gov.ph. So, requirements of bidding documents. The following documents are posted in the DPWH website and field jobs to assist the contractors to prepare their bids. Instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special condition of contract, bid data sheet, specifications such as the DPWH Blue Book Volume 2 and 3 2012 edition, drawings, bill of quantities, and sample forms. For eligibility criteria naman po, to be eligible to bid for this contract, a contractor must meet the following major requirements. Duly licensed Filipino citizens or sole proprietorships, partnerships duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, and or which at least 60% of the interest belongs to the citizens of the Philippines. Corporations duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, and of which at least 60% of the outstanding capital stock belongs to the citizens of the Philippines. Cooperatives duly organized under the laws of the Philippines, or entities forming themselves into a joint venture as per section 23.4.2.1a of the IRR. Foreign bidders may be eligible to participate in accordance with the guidelines issued by the GPPB as per section 23.4.2.2 of the IRR. Must have a valid pickup license, must have an SLCC that is similar to the contract to be bid of at least 50% of the ABC. Contractors under small A and small B categories with similar experience, provided the cost of the contract to be bid is not more than the ARCC of their registration, and must have an NFCC at least equal to the ABC. So, for eligibility and technical documents to be submitted by the bidders. So, for prospective bidders po, not yet enrolled in the CWA, yung mga documents mo nito ang ipapasa. Class A, legal documents, field job certificate of registration, mayor's permit, DTI, tax clearance, pickup license and registration, statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, statement of SLCC, computation of NFCC, valid joint venture agreement if applicable. Bid security, validity of 120 calendar days, cash or manager's check, bank draft guarantee 2%, surety bond callable on demand of 5%, and bid securing declaration as per revised form per GPPB Resolution number 16-2020, dated September 16, 2020. And project requirements such as the organizational chart for the contract to be bid, list of contractors' personnel or key persons, list of contractors' major equipment units, owned lease under purchase agreement, and omnibus warrant statement duly notarized as per revised form per GPPB Resolution number 16-2020, dated September 16, 2020. Eligibility requirements. For Class A legal documents po, field job certificate of registration, platinum membership, or SEC certificate of registration, DTI registration, mayor's business permit, tax clearance, and audited financial statement. For Class A technical documents naman po, statement of all ongoing contracts, statement of SLCC, and pickup license or special pickup license for joint venture agreement po for infra. For Class A financial documents, NFCC or CLC for goods. And for Class B, in case of joint venture agreement entered into by the parties. Legal eligibility requirements, Class A. So recently expired mayor's permit shall be accepted together with the official receipt as proof that the bidder has applied for renewal within the period prescribed by the concerned LGU. So the renewed permit shall be submitted as a post-qualification requirement in accordance with the Section 34.2 of the 2016 IRR of RA 9184. Submission of BIR receipt for renewal of tax clearance will not suffice in lieu of the valid tax clearance requirement. Submission of provisional tax clearance issued by the BIR for bidding purposes is not acceptable form of tax clearance as per GPPB Resolution number 01-2014. So, statement of all ongoing government and private contracts. So, statement of the bidder of all ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. The statement shall include all information required in the bidding documents. So, statement of SLCC for infra projects. The SLCC completed should be similar to the contract to be bid or has the same major categories of work. The SLCC's value should be at least 50% of the ABC to be bid upon adjustment to current prices using the PSA consumer price indices. Contractors under small A and small B categories without similar experience on the contract may participate if the cost of the contract to be bid is not more than the ARCC of their registration. So for pickup license naman po, valid pickup license or special pickup license for joint venture and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid should be valid at the time of the deadline of the submission and opening of bids. So for bid security naman po, ang forms natin pwede pagbigyan ay cash or cashier's manager's check or bank guarantee draft or irrevocable letter of credit issued by a universal or commercial bank, so 2% of the ABC po yun. For bid securing declaration naman po, ay bid securing declaration and surety bond callable upon demand, 5% of the ABC po yun. So yan po ang sample ng ating bid securing declaration form. So revised provision, a document undertaking signed by the bidder committing to pay the corresponding fine and be automatically disqualified from bidding of any procurement contract of the procuring entity for a period of time upon receipt of the blacklisting order. So, revised penalties naman po, penalty of disqualification for 2 years from bidding for any procurement contract with any procuring entity upon receipt of the blacklisting order. So, next is payment of fine to be calculated in accordance with the rules set. So, yan po ay according to GPPB Resolution number 16-2020. So for omnibus sworn statement naman po, a revised omnibus sworn statement, ito po ang content, non-inclusion of blacklist, revised, authenticity of documents, verification authority, signatories authority, disclosure of relations, responsibilities of bidders, labor laws and standards, non-payment, directly or indirectly, any commission, amount, fee, or any form of consideration in relation to any procurement project or activity. In case advance payment was made or given failure to perform or deliver any of the obligations and undertakings in the contract shall be sufficient grounds to constitute criminal liability. So, yan po ay according to GPBB, Resolution number 16-2020. So, evaluation of second envelope naman po. So, for second envelope, financial proposal, ang content po ay bid form, summary of bid prices and the bill of quantities, detailed estimates including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of materials, labor and equipment, cash flow by quarter, month and payment schedule, and other documents required in the bidding documents. So, pabalik na yun. Ay, kasintan. So, detailed evaluation of bids po. Ang purpose po nito is to determine the lowest calculated bid by establishing correct calculated prices and bids and ranking calculated total bid prices from lowest to highest. So, ang method po na ginagamit is anong discretionary criterion shall be used, which shall include consideration of completeness of bids and minor arithmetical corrections. So, results shall be contained in the abstract of bids. So, unless instruction to bidders or ITB specifically allows partial bids, those not providing all required items shall be considered non-responsive. Placing no price is considered as non-responsive, and specifying a zero or dash line means it is offered for free. So in case of discrepancies naman po, for bid price in figures versus bid price in words, total price per item versus unit price for the item times quantity, stated total price versus actual sum of prices of component items, and unit cost in the detailed estimate versus unit cost in the bill of quantities, the encircled items po shall prevail. So, meron po tayong no contact rule, so prohibition on communication with bidders from the bid evaluation until the award of the contract. So, for post-qualification, ang purpose po nito is to determine whether the lowest calculated bid complies with and is responsive to all requirements and conditions as specified in the bidding documents to be declared as the lowest calculated and responsive bid. Ang method po nito, ang discretionary pass or fail criterion shall be used to verify, validate, and ascertain all statements and documents submitted by the lowest calculated bid. So, yun na po.
Okay? Since we have no other matters to be discussed, this private conference for today is now adjourned.